Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. The situation in Washington is growing more intense by the day, and not in a good way. Wide receiver Terry McLaurin, the heartbeat of the Commanders' offense, is in the middle of a contract standoff that could shake the very foundation of this team's future. He's seeking a deal that would pay him $30 million annually, money he has every right to demand based on his production and value to the franchise. But rather than step up and secure the services of one of their few proven stars, the Commanders are playing a dangerous game. McLaurin skipped training camp yesterday, making it clear this is not a bluff. This isn't some casual negotiation anymore. It's a full-blown battle, and the longer it drags out, the more it threatens to derail not only McLaurin's momentum, but the development of rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels. And that, according to analyst Louis Riddick, should terrify Washington's front office. Riddick didn't mince words on ESPN's First Take, rating his concern about the situation a 10 out of 10. That's not an exaggeration. This isn't about an aging veteran trying to squeeze a few extra dollars from a team on the decline. This is about maximizing the growth of your rookie franchise quarterback while keeping your offensive nucleus intact. McLaurin has been the Commanders' most consistent performer for years. 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons don't just happen by luck. He's produced with a rotating door of quarterbacks and underwhelming offensive systems. Now that he finally has a young stud in Daniels throwing him the ball, the Commanders should be doing everything in their power to solidify that connection. Instead, they're allowing the business side of football to get in the way of chemistry, timing, and trust. And if they keep this up, they're going to regret it when the season starts. Let's be clear, $30 million for a top-tier wide receiver is not outrageous in today's NFL. We've seen similar deals handed out to players like DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, and soon-to-be T. Higgins and Ja'Marr Chase. These are players who, like McLaurin, are viewed as foundational pieces. Sure, Terry's turning 30 soon, and age always factors into negotiations. But this guy doesn't look like he's slowing down. He's coming off a career year in touchdowns and still plays like he's got plenty of gas in the tank. You're not paying for just future production, you're rewarding reliability, leadership, and elite route running. McLaurin is the kind of player young quarterbacks like Daniels need in their ear, on the sideline, and running routes during camp. And every day he's not in that building is a day of progress lost. Louis Riddick is absolutely justified in ringing the alarm. Jayden Daniels is still in the earliest stages of his NFL journey, and these training camp reps are crucial. Timing with wide receivers, understanding route depths, reading defensive leverage, all of that comes from countless hours of practice and chemistry. If Daniels is working with second-tier receivers while his WR1 is away in contract limbo, how is he supposed to grow? Riddick put it best: every day those that can work together, they need to. You can't replicate that in September or October. These are the days that define whether a quarterback hits the ground running or stumbles through a rocky start. And for all the talk about avoiding a sophomore slump, it's not about superstition, it's about preparation. The Commanders need to get out of their own way and make sure their quarterback has his best weapon by his side. Otherwise, they risk stunting his progress. Look, nobody is denying that contract negotiations are tough. Teams want to balance the books, think about the long term, and avoid overcommitting to declining players. But this isn't your average situation. McLaurin isn't just a good player, he's the guy in Washington. He's the face of the offense, and one of the few consistent voices in the locker room. If anyone's earned a big payday, it's him. And what message are you sending to the rest of the team if you let a player like that twist in the wind? This isn't just about money, it's about culture. Rewarding your stars, especially ones who have stuck through the team's lows, builds trust and accountability. If the Commanders botch this, they're not just risking a contract dispute, they're potentially alienating a locker room that's finally starting to believe in something. And let's talk about what McLaurin did last year with Jayden Daniels. Of Daniels' 25 touchdown passes, 12 went to McLaurin. That's not a coincidence. That's a quarterback finding his favorite target, leaning on him in critical moments, and building a connection that could define this offense for years. Before last season, McLaurin's career high for touchdown receptions was 7. That spike in production didn't just come out of nowhere, it came from trust. It came from the two of them developing a rhythm. That's the kind of thing you don't want to mess with, and yet, here we are. The Commanders are dragging their feet while one of the best receiver QB duos in the league sits on pause. It's a massive misstep that could haunt them if Daniels starts slow or McLaurin returns out of sync. Riddick also made a great point about the Brandon Ayuk situation in San Francisco. Ayuk missed time due to a similar contract holdout and looked rusty when the season began. Chemistry takes time to build. You can't simulate real game reps or live practice speed. No matter how talented you are, McLaurin needs to be on the field. Daniels needs his number one guy. This isn't just about dollars, it's about development. If you're serious about turning this franchise around and finally giving fans something to cheer about, you don't cut corners here. You pay your leaders, you protect your young quarterback, and you show the rest of the league you know how to take care of your homegrown talent. Riddick's final words on First Take were crystal clear. You're playing with fire. And he's absolutely right. The Commanders are taking a dangerous gamble by delaying this deal. They're assuming that Daniels will keep ascending no matter what. They're assuming that McLaurin won't miss a beat after skipping camp. But football doesn't work like that. It's a game of inches, reps, and relationships. When you interfere with any of those, you're risking your future. Riddick doesn't buy into the sophomore slump theory, and neither should we, but only if the right support system is in place. Letting a contract dispute derail that growth, that's playing with fire, and when it burns everything around it. Let's not forget Jaden Daniels is still on a rookie deal. That's a golden window for any franchise. It's the best time to build around your quarterback, spend aggressively, and stack the deck in your favor. The Commanders aren't paying Daniels like a top-tier quarterback yet. They're hesitating to pay McLaurin, someone who's earned his paycheck through years of elite performance. That's backwards. This is the time to go all in. Once Daniels starts commanding top-tier money, then you make the tough decisions, but not now. Not when you have the flexibility to lock in your weapons and give your young QB every possible advantage. McLaurin isn't asking for anything outrageous, he's asking for what he's earned. If Washington isn't careful, this contract dispute could become the defining storyline of their season for all the wrong reasons. They've got a golden opportunity here, a young, talented quarterback who looks like the real deal, a veteran wide receiver who's proven, loyal, and still playing at an elite level, a fan base hungry for stability and success. All the pieces are right there. But the front office is dragging its feet, worried about dollars when it should be focused on wins. Louis Riddick's warning should be echoing through every hallway in that building. You don't toy with your WR1 during your quarterback's formative years. You don't risk the rhythm, the bond, the trust that makes great offenses click. The Commanders better act fast before this fire burns out of control. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world might be on the brink of one of the most intriguing defensive shakeups this offseason. Rumors have been swirling with increasing intensity about DEVIN Lloyd, the dynamic linebacker who has been a cornerstone of Jacksonville's defense, possibly making a surprising move to Washington Commanders. Imagine a scenario where Lloyd, a true human wall known for his sideline-to-sideline agility and relentless tackling, leaves the Jaguars to become the centerpiece of a Commanders front seven reconstruction. This would not just be a player transfer. It would be a seismic shift in defensive strategy. The Commanders have been quietly but aggressively looking to bolster their defense, particularly their linebacker cores. And Lloyd fits the mold perfectly. His ability to read offenses, disrupt plays, and lead the defense could be exactly what Washington needs to climb up the rankings. If this deal goes through, it might just redefine the Commanders' defensive identity. Lloyd's potential arrival in Washington could signal the start of a new era for the Commanders' defense, an area that has seen flashes of brilliance but never consistent dominance. The 24-year-old linebacker, who has been a tackling machine for Jacksonville, brings a rare blend of speed, intelligence, and physicality that any team would covet. It's no secret that Washington has been in search of a leader on the field, someone who can not only execute but inspire. Lloyd's reputation as a locker room presence and on-field general makes him a perfect candidate. The whispers suggest that Washington's coaching staff has been closely monitoring Lloyd's progress for some time, seeing him as the missing piece to their puzzle. Should this rumor materialize, it could mean the Commanders are ready to invest heavily in defense and shake up their roster in a big way. On the flip side, Jacksonville's front office might be weighing tough decisions, balancing salary cap constraints and long-term planning. DEVIN Lloyd, being one of their top defensive assets, naturally commands attention and significant financial commitment. The buzz is that the Jaguars could be exploring trade options. to maximize their return, potentially opening the door for a blockbuster deal with Washington. The Commanders, eager to bolster their linebacking unit, might be willing to part with valuable draft picks or even promising young talent to acquire Lloyd. This would create a ripple effect, forcing both franchises to recalibrate their draft strategies and roster construction. Fans and analysts alike are already speculating about how such a move might affect the Jaguars' defensive scheme, especially if they lose a player as impactful as Lloyd. What makes this potential move even more captivating is the strategic fit. Devin Lloyd's versatility and instincts allow him to play multiple linebacker roles, from inside to outside, matching perfectly with the Commanders' defensive coordinator's preference for aggressive, flexible front sevens. The Commanders have been experimenting with different personnel and alignments, but lack that true playmaker who can cover ground quickly and disrupt defensive rhythms. Lloyd's speed and tackling prowess would instantly upgrade their defense's ability to counter both the run and the pass. The chatter suggests that Washington's defensive coaches are thrilled at the prospect of adding Lloyd to their mix, imagining the countless ways they could deploy him to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. This kind of upgrade could be the spark the Commanders need to transform into a top-tier defensive unit. Moreover, the timing of this possible acquisition fits perfectly into Washington's broader offseason strategy. The team has shown signs of aggression in the free agency market, targeting key players who can make immediate impacts. Adding Devin Lloyd to that list would underscore their commitment to building a championship-caliber defense. The rumors indicate that behind closed doors, the Commanders' front office is pushing hard to finalize this deal before other contenders jump into the fray. The competition for top defensive talent is fierce, and snagging Lloyd would not only enhance the defense, but also send a powerful message to the rest of the league. Washington is serious about competing at the highest level. It's a move that could potentially alter the balance of power in the NFC East and beyond. Jacksonville fans might feel a sting if Lloyd indeed leaves, given how much he has contributed to the team's defensive identity. However, the possibility of the Jaguars turning this into a strategic advantage is real. Reports suggest that the Jaguars' management might be targeting multiple picks or young talent to fuel a rebuild or bolster other areas of need. Lloyd's departure, while painful, could be part of a calculated plan to accelerate the team's long-term growth. The narrative is that the Jaguars are ready to embrace a youth movement, using the assets acquired from Washington to fill multiple holes on their roster. This potential domino effect could reshape the landscape of both franchises, adding layers of intrigue for the upcoming NFL season and off-season trades. From a fan perspective, the prospect of seeing Devin Lloyd suited up in burgundy and gold is generating buzz and excitement across social media and sports forums. The speculation feeds into a growing anticipation for the next season, where Washington's defense could look fundamentally different. Lloyd's relentless style of play and knack for game-changing tackles would inject energy into a Commanders defense that has been searching for consistency and leadership. The rumors also ignite debates about how well Lloyd would mesh with Washington's current defensive stars, and how his presence might elevate their overall game plan. It's the kind of storyline that makes NFL off-season coverage so thrilling. A single move capable of sparking hope and hype among a fan base hungry for success. Behind the scenes, insiders are hinting that contract negotiations are complex but progressing steadily. Devin Lloyd's camp reportedly values a deal that reflects his impact and potential as a franchise cornerstone. Washington is said to be prepared to offer a competitive package that aligns with their cap space and long-term vision. This delicate dance between player demands, team needs, and financial realities adds another layer of drama to the unfolding saga. If Washington can strike the right balance, they might not only secure Lloyd, but also avoid hampering their ability to make additional moves. This balancing act is often the unsung element in such high-profile rumors, revealing just how intricate and strategic NFL roster building truly is. In terms of impact, analysts speculate that if Devin Lloyd joins the Commanders, he could transform their defense from a middle-of-the-pack unit into a dominant force, capable of challenging elite offenses. His knack for reading plays and breaking through blocks makes him a nightmare for quarterbacks and running backs alike. The Commanders' pass rushers would benefit from his presence, as Lloyd's ability to disrupt running lanes and cover short zones could force offenses into mistakes. This potential synergy has fans and experts imagining highlight reels full of bone-crushing tackles and pivotal stops. The transformation could be so significant that Washington might emerge as a dark horse contender In the NFC, with a defense built to stifle opponents and give their offense better field position. As the NFL offseason progresses, this rumor about Devin Lloyd's possible move to Washington continues to gain traction. While nothing is confirmed, the combination of strategic fit, team needs, and financial maneuvering makes it a storyline worth following closely for Commanders fans. The anticipation builds around what could be a defining addition to their roster. For Jaguars supporters, there's a mixture of hope and uncertainty as they await how their team might pivot. This kind of buzz is what makes the NFL offseason so captivating. A time when futures are shaped, legends are made, and the league's landscape shifts under the radar. Whether Lloyd becomes the face of Washington's defensive resurgence or not, the conversations around this rumor highlight the ever-evolving nature of NFL team building and the constant chase for competitive advantage. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.